Hello, everybody. My name's Chachi, and welcome back to In Our Humble Opinion. Now, Tom's another week without Tom. Okay, he's a busy man. He's got kids. Got kids, man. It's tough. It's tough, you know. But I'm gonna handle it this week. It's all gonna be good. He's gonna be back soon. Everybody wish him congratulations on his new baby. So it's always good. Um, but let's get right into it. So I have the list of playoff people that have clinched. Which in the NFC we got four teams now, including the Cowboys, and we got three in the AFC. As you see, the Browns. We'll get into them very shortly. But we're gonna start off with the game last week that everyone was talking about. Ravens against the 49ers, at the 49ers, I should say, on Christmas night. Ravens played well. I thought the 49ers actually did a lot of good things in that game. Like their offense was, they had moments where they looked really good. I did think the Ravens' physicality was really nice. They really came in there. They weren't scared. They played hard. Brock Purdy had some bad luck. Some of them, the first throw was he threw it late, which is his fault. But the other throws, had good confidence. They just made plays, and sometimes the other team's going to make plays. I did like how the Ravens weren't afraid. Lamar made the plays he needed to make to win the game, and he always does. He's big time when you need him. He's going to make plays. I do think he should be in the discussion for MVP, but in my opinion, I think it's a quarterback's award now. And seriously, though, CMC should probably get it. Him or Tyreek Hill, which will segue into what Ravens playing the Dolphins, which is a huge game now. But thanks Cowboys, you couldn't help us out, could you? But the Ravens look good. The 49ers, I think, are going to be fine. I still would pick them to win the NFC. They look better than the other three teams I'm looking at on my list. The Lions are inconsistent. The Eagles are just not playing very well right now. And the Cowboys, on the road, they can't win. And right now, they would have to go to San Francisco. We saw how that ends up. And if the Ravens, if somehow they made it back to the Super Bowl to play the 49ers, if that happens, that game, because you never know, it's football. I always say that. I would pick them, but it doesn't mean the 49ers will make it. It's one game. I've seen teams, especially my team, not show up for the games in the playoffs, and you do not win if you don't. Okay, you gotta show up for every game. If the other team does, you're in trouble. That's just how it works. It's one game, you don't get a do over. But I was impressed by the Ravens. I thought their defense was good. Kyle Hamilton seems to be okay. It's 49ers will be fine though. Brock Purdy, the one thing I will say that I hope their coach doesn't do, Kyle Shanahan. And again, I talked about this. Please play the guy. Don't bench him because we know what Sam Darnold is. I like Sam Darnold, but he's a good backup. He's not a star. He always makes mistakes. Got a good arm, but the kid's just he's proven him what he is in this league. Okay, maybe I'm wrong, but I think Brock Purdy has better potential and could potentially be a great player. I think he's really good right now. Runs the system fairly very well. You do see his limitations with his arm sometimes. You can see why he's a 7 pick. Excuse me, I didn't mean to. But you really can see that though his arm is not the best arm in the world. But when he's on time and running the plays well and seeing the right things, he does a great job for them. They're really overall in every phase a very good team. They have great defense, really good offense. It's I think they're going to be fine. But CMC should probably be the MVP. Like I said, I would probably vote for him. I just want to go back to that, reiterate that. I thought he played great the other night too on Christmas night. Just think the Ravens, Lamar made the plays you have to make. I think Lamar is the most important player for his team because he does make the plays. But Isaiah Likely, guy no one he's really stepped up. Guy a lot of people aren't talking about. He really has stepped up. He's very good. I'm interested to see what they do. There's talking about Mark Andrews coming back. If Mark Andrews comes back, you could have a real good two tight end sets. Even Kohler's making plays for him, the third tight end. So Ravens man, they're looking good. But as you know, they are the Ravens. It's usually a tight game with some teams. I think Miami game is going to be tough. We'll go right. Let's transition right into that. Ravens are at home against Miami. Here's the thing I want to talk about because while I was impressed by that victory by the Ravens, it really didn't mean a hill of beans in the respect that the only thing I'll give them is now if they win this game, they clinch. They wouldn't have been the case if they lost to the 49ers. But they're set up for this was set up to be a hard game if Miami was in this position, which they're in because Miami's coming off a game that they played at home, which they're coming about 2.5 hours from Miami to Baltimore on a Sunday, so they get an extra day to make the travel. The Ravens are playing a tough physical game against a physical team. Have to go back cross country to home, which is like 3.5, 4 hours. all beat up, get 1 day's less rest. It's going to be tough. Now, the Dolphins do not have Jalen Waddle, which I just saw, which helps the Ravens a lot. It's kind of their fault if you're not ready for Tyreek. He is your one deep threat. They have weapons. I don't want anyone. Their two running backs get going. They're going to run you off the field. And there were holes when McCaffrey was running. I think that was the issue with the 49ers. I love Kyle Shanahan. That's another issue I have with that coach. I like him. I think he's a great coach, but sometimes he tries to be Mr. Smart Guy too much. Like, bro, just sometimes run the ball. You just don't want to do that, and I don't understand when you can just power the ball and win it. It's got to be all this fancy, dude. You can run on them, run the ball, end the game. The Ravens, they would have did a better job in that game against the Ravens after your guy throws a couple picks, even if it is bad luck with the tips. And I don't like saying that. We always say that it's bad luck. Guys are making plays too. I'm not saying it's bad luck for him, but it's really good plays. Brandon Stevens made a really good play. The third one was actually a bad throw though. The one was tipped. That's not his fault. The Kyle Hamilton one was a bad one, and the second one that Kyle Hamilton got, not Kyle Hamilton, the second Kyle Hamilton, both the Kyle Hamilton ones, I'm wrong. Both the Kyle Hamilton ones were bad ideas. I don't know why he threw across the body of George Kittle. The ball got tipped up in the air. Yes, that was bad luck, but the throw was, why are you doing that? You're just throw it out of bounds. You gave him a chance to make a play. Marlon Humphrey did. Hamilton picked the ball off. It's just, what were you doing? I don't, no. I thought he played a okay game, but I think he put the ball in harm's way a lot. And that's the thing with Brock Purdy. He isn't afraid to throw it, which I give him. I love that about him. Like little Brett Favre in him. But he really has to be more careful with the ball, because that would have been a really good game if he wouldn't have did that. He definitely was the X factor for the loss. Okay, but the Dolphins, I think they're going to come to play. It's a big game for them. Even without Jalen Waddle, they still have that big play threat. They have a lot of motion. They're tough. They're a lot tougher than you think too on defense. They're very hard-nosed defense. They have good corners, so that's gonna. Even though Xavier Howard, let's be serious, he has had a rough last few weeks. It's definitely a guy you want to pick on. Jalen Ramsey is a solid corner. I do think he's a bit overrated as far as they talk about him like he's solid. He is one of the better corners now, but he's still you can get him. Not very good against shifty guys, but he's a good corner. They have very good corners. Holland's a very good safety. Deshaun Elliott knows a lot about the old Ravens, especially defensively. You can give him some hints on it. I don't know if McDonald's scheme goes that far back, but it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. And here's my interesting facts with this. So, even if the Ravens lose, God forbid they lose, I know my team, they're going to make this really annoying to watch, because it's actually fun but annoying, because it's probably going to be a really close game down to the wire. The Ravens lose this game. Let's say that happens. They get the Steelers in week 18, which I think, even if they do win this game, they should play them, because, hear me out, you can knock the Steelers out the playoffs, assuming the Steelers still have a shot. That means they would have to win this week, though. But play them hard. It's like your playoff game before you get your bye, because they did this before. They played all their backups. They went in, and then they were rusty against the Titans the last time they had home field, and it cost them. I think they came out rusty, couldn't catch the ball. Now, they do have professionals at receiver now, like older players, that Odell, Aguilar, guys that know how to play football, played in playoff games. I think that does help them, but I would personally play my players, because it is the Pittsburgh rivalry. It gives you like that playoff feel, and I get it. You might get people hurt, but I like that better than resting your players. But I will say, hindsight's 20/20. So if they do that, and it ends up not making any effect on the team, Harbaugh knows his team better than I do, and I'm not the biggest Harbaugh fan, everybody, but he knows his team better than I do. If he thinks that's the right way, I will be like, okay, that's fine. Because I think Tyler Huntley is not a bad backup. He's a very good backup. I think he can play a really good game against them, but I don't really like your quarterback going into a playoff game with 3 weeks basically of rest, if you're counting the bye and that week. It's like 3.5 weeks. It's not. I don't like that. But the Dolphins, I think, are a team that is kind of scary, because they're fast, and I would not want to play them in the playoffs, because I think they can win 1 or 2 games maybe. I don't know about Super Bowl, because it's just they're kind of finesse. Like Tom always calls them black Ferraris, but Ferraris can scare you too, because if they get by you, you can be down real quick, and the game's never over with them. They can score fast. that gets me into the team that I want to talk about them because I have a dream matchup I want. I ain't gonna lie to you, and I know we're supposed to not like each other because um, our teams are rivals or whatever. But I do not have a problem with Cleveland Browns. That is my second favorite team this year. If the Ravens aren't going to win it, I would rather have them win it. That would be my dream. You know, Cowboys though too. I only want them in there because my sister's, my wife's sister's husband, Nicholas, is a Cowboys fan, and that's my boy. So if we get the Cowboys in the Super Bowl against the Ravens, that'd be the dream. Because then if I'm not going to be happy, at least someone else will be. Even though I like football, so I'm gonna watch either way and have a good time. Just the end result would be sad. But the Browns, they're back to them. The Browns, I love the makeup of their team. They're tough. Their defense, and they got Joe who's playing out of his mind. And when here's the thing, I was talking to someone about this. I think Joe sitting on his couch actually helped him because if you watch him, he has a lot more mobility than he's had in recent years. He had a little bit with the Jets. But it's like that rest really helped him because now he's got that little bit of mobility that in his prime made him who he was. Like made him that little bit because he has a cannon. That man can get off the couch probably when he's 55 and just throw a ball 60, 70 yards. He's got a cannon. He's had it his whole career. Best arms I've ever seen. But the Browns, man, they're very formidable. I've seen that defense. They're not afraid of the Ravens. I would love to see Browns can still get the number one seed either in Cleveland or here in Baltimore. I would love to see the Browns play the Ravens for the AFC Championship. That is my dream. I don't hate Joe, bro. I don't love their team makeup. I got no hate. And Browns fans, I'm sorry, you're not going to get it from me. I was a hater anyway. Y'all can do all this stat watching. I don't care about the regular season. Ravens and the Browns made the playoffs. That's all you got to worry about, guys. Your team's in. Same thing with the Dolphins, the 49ers, the Eagles, the Lions, the Cowboys. You're all good. We made it. You just got to win the games wherever they're at. So even if, God forbid, your teams lose the last two games, you're like the seventh seed you're in, bro. Just get hot at the right time. Trust me, I'm a Ravens fan. That year we won the last one, we went in there limping. And our team decided, hey, Ray's going to leave. We're going to play hard. And, look what happened. You just got to play tough. That's it. And I'm going to tell you right now, regardless of what happens with the Ravens and Browns, the way their teams play, hey, God forbid Lamar gets hurt or Joe, but if they're all healthy, they're skill position players and everything, defensively, everyone's healthy, both those teams are going to be hard to beat because they got defenses and they're going to beat you up. They're going to play hard. Okay, they are. They just are. It's going to be rough. It's going to be hard to beat them. Dolphins, like I said, I think they're a very good team. I think it's going to be a good game. But the Browns, I said they were my sleeper. And I still sleeper for the Super Bowl. Like I think they're legit. I wouldn't even call them a sleeper now. They're legit. They're gonna be tough because Joe in the playoffs is a problem. It's gonna be a good. I hope that happens, but you never know. Knowing the way the Chiefs are, they might be that team that I just talked about. Look like they're not playing well. Get in the playoffs and go on this run. They do have Pat Mahomes, and that defense is pretty solid. So I don't want to cast them off. I incidentally went into them without talking about it. That was a rough game against the Raiders. Las Vegas played great defense. Jack Jones is a monster. I mean, just picking everything, running it back. Patty Mahomes had a bad game. He did. The team had a bad game. I mean, that guy did not complete a pass for 3 quarters. O'Connell, none for the last 3 quarters. That's wild. And you lost. Antonio Pierce, please sign that guy. You did it last time with the interim coach. Everyone wanted him. You didn't do it. Raiders, I get it. Maybe he's not the offensive genius or whatever and all this crap about you need a... You know what? You say that, but what happens at the end of every year? A team whose defense is pretty solid ends up either winning the Super Bowl or playing really tough. Because you could say the Chiefs are an offensive team, but last year that defense played really well. I mean, that defense is important, guys. Kyle Shanahan's a great coach, but he has a really good defense too. Just saying. It's wild. But I do think the Browns, they're my team right now. I think they're playing great. And Cleveland fans, I got no problem with you guys. I never did. We gotta stop the hate. I respect you like I do the Pittsburgh fans. You guys just haven't had as much winning as they have. Oh God, that is not me for that to pop up. The hell do I? Oh, excuse me. That is not what I wanted. There we go, guys. We did it. But yeah, Cleveland fans, we all love them, man. I know we took your team or whatever, but technically would let you keep your team's name. It was all good. You steal your team in the middle of the night. I found this out when I was 8 with the Colts. But I love the Ravens, so I better colors, defensive culture, that kind of team. Same thing with your team. Go Browns. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get popping for the North, baby. 39-22. Every other team, the second best division record is 31-29. We are superior. Let's go. AFC North, baby. Come on, brothers in arms. No hate. And for the injury thing, it ended up working out for you guys. And the Bengals, I'll get into you guys. God, all that chatter, you talk, all this. They really can't talk. You ain't even got an NFL championship. I mean, come on, bro. Well, then chill. We can be friends. Jake Browning isn't that good. There's a reason people cut you, homie. You ain't that good. You still ain't that good. Joe Burrow is going to come back, and we're all going to really be glad when he does because he's a beast. And your team's really solid. Next year is going to be so fun in that division. I can't wait to see the division games. They're going to be wild. Pittsburgh will probably get Russell Wilson, which we'll talk about that too. That is wild. So I'm kind of on Russell's side. Why should he give you the money? And I don't feel like he's played that bad. I don't think he's played good either. I think it's right in the middle. Everyone wants to say he's terrible. He's good. I think he's off script is still solid. I think he isn't reading the defense as well. But you knew this with a quarterback of his size. When they get older, he's not going to be the same mobility. It's not going to be the same. I think it's good for both parties to part ways. I think Sean Payton is who he is, and I think to denigrate him for, like, it's how he is. He had Drew Brees. He's not used to the quarterback being this complicated or anything like that. I do think Russell can still play. I think Pittsburgh should unless Mason Rudolph just shows 3 games in a row. If he plays like he did last week, okay, we're give him a shot. Kenny Pickett played out of his George Pickens played out of his mind, and he's a great receiver. If Mason Rudolph shows that, hey, you got a quarterback, you're fine. You don't got to do that. But I would, if he shows that he's still who he is, because someone got the plan for him this week. We'll see what he's got. Seattle, not a great defense, but if they hem him in a little bit, maybe it's like, I think Russell Wilson will work with that team. I think this division's just only going to get better. The only caveat for both teams, the Ravens and the Browns, this might be your best chance, guys, because shows while he is playing well, he is older, and you guys got a $235 million albatross on your team, just like we have. Our quarterback costs a lot of money too. We can't sign everybody. You guys really can't sign everybody because yours is guaranteed. The thing with Lamar is we can be like, hey, Lamar, we need money. We can delegate it a little bit. Your guy has to either accept the change, and even when he does, the money's still going to him. It's guaranteed. That's wild. And no offense to Deshaun Watson, he hasn't been as healthy or played as well as Lamar's been playing since he got that contract, okay? And these two teams, the Browns are going to start losing people. Nick Chubb's on his second injury. It's the same thing with the Ravens. They got people leaving. We got our running backs coming back. It's a whole mess. We got a left tackle we're paying a lot of money who's just perpetually injured. I hope Ronnie Stanley gets back to where he was, but it's hard. He got a lot of injuries. Anyway, Browns, loving what I'm seeing. Okay. Now let me get up to the NFC elites. I think we went over the Eagles. I don't have much to say about them. They're a mess right now. I think they're going to beat Arizona, obviously. I think when they get to the playoffs, their pedigree makes them scary. I don't know if they can beat the 49ers, though, in Santa Clara. Okay. The Lions are a weird team. They don't know how to finish games, and their defense is very... Just they don't have the players right now, especially in that secondary. It's too. I think they can win a game, maybe 2. I'll even give them maybe 2 because it depends who they play. Because I think they could give the Eagles a run, even in Philadelphia. Because the Eagles, it's just going to be a high-scoring game. Because I'm sorry, Bradbury is. He might have been good 3-4 years ago, but he's a problem for the Eagles. He either holds a guy at the end of games. They target him. He either holds a guy. Or he gives up the pass. It's just not there. And they keep putting him in man coverage. I'm like, what are you doing? He's not that good. You can't keep doing that. By the way, Bradbury, not hating on you, buddy. You're better than I'll ever be a corner. Okay, I don't want any smoke with any athletes. You always get mad. I just saying from a professional standpoint. When I watch you, they go throw at you. I said, love the Eagles. I think they still have a shot just because they made the Super Bowl. You got to knock out the champ. Well, the NFC champ. You knock them out. Still would pick the 49ers, though. I'm just saying. Cowboys, listen, you guys got to show me you can win on the road. You don't play the same. Even though I think you should have won that game. I wish you would have won that game. That's a lot of help. But the Ravens, I'm saying. Us. I don't play for the team. But the Ravens, you would have helped out my team. the team I root for. Yeah, it helped a lot. But, hey, stop fumbling the ball at the 1 yard line. Stop giving it to your fullback, okay? Who never gets the ball. That's why he dropped it. That's like when the Ravens were giving Ricard runs. Like, bro, he can catch and he can block. Notice they don't do that anymore because they're like, oh, yeah, when you're not used to handling the ball, that happens. Try to get cute. Mike McCarthy is Mike McCarthy, though, so why? Why am I surprised? But Cowboys, show me you can win on the road. I think if you play your A game, you can beat anyone, but that is very rare. And Dak, especially on the road, they're not the same team. They're not. And we'll see this weekend about Miami. If Miami shows me they played the Ravens tough or even beat them, I'm going to be like, hey, that was a good win. We beat them at home, and that's a fast track, baby. But we'll see. We'll see. And I'm actually glad the weather's going to be nice. I don't want... No, let's have a good game with Miami. It's 49 degrees and sunny. It's going to be fun. And not only that, it's still not 70 degrees like Florida, so still a little different. But Cowboys, you got to show me, bro. I don't see it. Like, you're playing Detroit. This is a big game. We'll see what you got. I think you're home, though, so, yeah, you're not really proving anything to me. I think you can beat them at home. I don't know about on the road. I think they would beat you. Now, if you lose this home game, that's terrible because then all your confidence is gone. Now you're not even like, hey, if we're home, we're 15 in a row, which it will be if you win. Then it's like, man, we are down bad right now. We are not doing well. All right, so now that we've covered the clinch team, let's cover this. This is the ones I want to talk about because this is very wild now. Jaguars, we're just going to talk real fast about you. No, it's a whole mess. It's like 3 straight losses. They're tanking there. The Colts, while I still like their pedigree, the Gardner Minshew effect's starting to wear off. My man's not really, it's not working right now. That was a bad loss. That was a real bad loss. But still like them better than Jaguars. I think they can leapfrog them. We saw what happens with the Texans. They just had a rough time. The Bengals, Jake Browning, come on, bro. Get out of here. Steelers, I love what I saw from Mason Rudolph. You need a lot of miracles. Hopefully he plays well. Maybe you have your quarterback. Like I said, Russell Wilson's going to be available. That's going to be wild to see where he goes, by the way. But anyway, Bills. That's why I was never want to go all in with them because they always have games like last week. How is Easton Stick? How are you about to lose to them with Easton Stick, the Chargers? How? Whatever. I don't know. I still like them, but I do think they can be had. I think they can beat anybody if they make the playoffs, but also think they can lose to everybody because Josh Allen is that good when he's on. And that team is tough. They have a tough defense. I do think their defense is overrated from the standpoint they give up big plays. They do. And at the end of games, they are not to be trusted. But I feel like they would be a team who would make it and then lose to the team you think they're going to beat. But if they could get by that team and barely escape like they did with the Chargers, they're really scary because they will play any good team tough. I will say that. Now, the Chiefs, like I said, championship pedigree. They do have that. I would not count them out. But Kelsey looks old, okay? I think this is a coming together moment. I like that what Kelsey said on his podcast. They seem angry. Like, this week's probably been a lot of hard hitting at practice, getting ready. I think this is where they're going to ramp it up. Whatever they got left, they're going to give you this season. And you still got Pat Mahomes. And we'll see what's going on. As much as we make fun of MVS, he does get open. If he could just catch the ball, it'll be fine. Okay? It's gonna be interesting to see. Very interested to see which way it goes. Does it go left or does it go right? Or does it just get a little better? We'll see. I think this is their do or die moment coming up. Like, not literally but figuratively. Like, they're like, hey, batten down the hatches. Playoffs are coming. We're going to play tough. I still wouldn't want to play them because the heart of a champion is hard to beat, man. Tom might think differently, but, I'll never doubt him. You got a good quarterback. You got a really good tight end. You got a solid defense. It's going to be... That line's not bad either. But Creed Humphrey's really good. But we'll see. We'll see. The Buccaneers, Baker's been playing out of his mind. Mike Evans, it's been wild. I think they could be a scary team in the first round. Like, I think Dallas could beat them in Tampa. I think that's the one team they could beat them. But I think it'll be a lot closer than people think. I think Tampa will give them a run for their money because Baker is flying. He's flowing, baby. Now, the Rams, that's the scariest team, though. You don't want to play them. I saw them. I see what they can do. They're going to play everyone tough. I'm interested to see their last game of the year against the 49ers. That is a litmus test for them. If they go in there and play them tough, and it's a divisional game, so I think it will be a close game. If they play them tough, man, you don't want any parts of that team. It's scary for the 49ers. They could end up playing them if they make like the 6th or 7th seed if they win their first game. So you got to be real careful Because since they're probably going to be the number one seed, let's for all intents and purposes say they're the number one seed and the Rams are sixth. Say they win their game, the seventh seed loses theirs. They're going to be the team that plays them next, and that's a divisional game. It's going to be tough. It really is. That's why I love the playoffs. You never know. You never know. It's a dogfight every time. Yeah, you really don't. It's wild. Like I said, the Colts. The Jaguars, I don't even know why they're on here. They might make the playoffs, but I do not see anyone being afraid of them. They are playing the Carolinas, so they're probably going to win. Down here, I just want to go into these teams because Tom's not here to talk about them. Vikings, I still would take. I would be more afraid of Green Bay, even though their defense. Let's get into that. Joe Barry, got to go. This defense is ridiculous. Do you really let the Panthers throw for all of them? Because Jordan Love's giving you 33 points and you almost lose the game, bro. He's been really good though. That's the one. That's the positive side with the Packers. Love's really good. The young players are getting better. Even your defense has a lot of young talent. The Jair Alexander thing was a little weird, but he'll be back. I just think you need a new philosophy over there. You got linebackers covering receivers in the slot. That's a whole mess. I don't know what's going on there. We'll see how that goes. Tom could speak on it more than me, but I still like the direction they're going in. I think this year. I don't think they're going to make it, but next year, I think they're really going to be a really good team with all the transitions and everything they do. Seahawks, that's going to be a big game for them today because they got to beat the Steelers. I'm hoping they win. Actually, no, you know what? I would pick the Steelers. I just like the way they've been playing. But the Seahawks it's going to be a good game. That actually sounds kind of wild. They're at Pittsburgh, though. That's tough. That's really tough. Oh man, but the Packers, the Saints, they let me down this year. That is crazy that team with the way their defense is constituted right now and everybody on it, and just their offense has been so inconsistent. Steelers, we know what their problem's been. Quarterback's been a mess. Even though Mason Rudolph, hopefully, I have no problem with the guy taking a little longer to become something. The Bengals, I like the talent on the team. I think Jake Browning. I just don't like when I keep it fair with everybody. I don't like how the Bengals act, like the Jake Browning acted. I don't like when quarterbacks do that. I don't like, dude. Be humble. You may have one good play, and honestly, T. Higgins made the better play on that. He just threw that ball up. Be humble, bro, and see life has a way of humbling you, and it came back full bore on my man last week. Okay, they beat you guys like a drum. The Steelers. They said, "Listen, buddy, this ain't this ain't the Vikings. You're gonna get beat up a little bit." He played terrible. So that's my thoughts with the Texans. Too many injuries. I feel bad for them. I just want to get that in. But before we sign off, I want to get into one more thing because it was talked about. Lamar said something about Mike Florio. Listen, Mike Florio and Cam Newton got a lot of crap. I'm putting these all together. Cam Newton came to the defense, and he made a good point. See, Mike Florio sits there. I don't have a problem. Like, I'm part of, like, in a smaller way, obviously. They're way bigger than I'll probably ever be. But in a small way, we're like that. We talk. That's why I always like to preference everything. Listen, you guys are amazing athletes. No hate. I'm just talking from a professional standpoint against other professionals. You obviously are amazing guys. No hate. My thing is, like Florio, they're right. You cannot say stuff like that out of pocket like that. That is crazy. You went way too overboard with that. Talking about they're going to kick their ass, kick the shit out of them. No, bruh. No. You can't say stuff like that. I agree. That's wild. That is really wild. Because, every football game, grown men play and they play hard. Sometimes you don't win. Sometimes the other team is better. But I respect all these guys that play this game. It's tough. It's hard. And you're right. I did not have the gumption to do that. I was not willing to take the hits they do, and I respect the heck out of that, okay? And Cam Newton's right. He can do what we're doing, but can you do what he's doing? And that is one of the best athletes I've ever seen. I love Lamar, and I think Lamar is one of him and Michael Vick are the two quickest dudes, maybe Randall Cunningham. But Cam, as far as like encompassing an athlete, like his big, strong quarterback, he's definitely the most imposing one. That man was like 6'6", 250. Beast, man. Always have respect for Cam. And I got on Cam in the past before, like talking about like when I'm back. I told you the same energy with the Jake Browning thing. It's fine though. Everyone's sitting there getting on the guy because he made a statement that Me and Tom, I believe we talked about it. If we didn't, I think we both agree. I'm not. I don't mean to speak for Tom, but I think he agrees with that. Cam Newton was right. I mean, game manager, and everyone takes it wrong. Tom Brady's the greatest game manager you'll ever see, especially those first like 8 years. But he did it amazingly. Didn't throw the interceptions, made the big time passes when you need it. It's not a slight. It's just there are certain people. Tom Brady doesn't run like Lamar. He can't make game changing plays or like Pat Mahomes holding the ball, moving around, making those crazy throws. Matt Stafford's a game changer. He makes ridiculous throws sometimes. But even the best game changer has to be a game manager in certain instances. And I watched Cam's whole thing. That's what he was trying to say. He was bringing up time. You got to give him credit. The guy was making good points. I'm just saying. Cam, respect, buddy. I like your fashion too, by the way. I have no problem with it. But anyway, guys, just wanted to let everyone know what's going on. We'll see you next week. Hopefully, my Ravens clinch. They have a habit of not doing that when they need to. They're a very weird team sometimes. But anyway, thanks. Likes as always are appreciated. Subscribe to more content. And as always, roll tide.